What's up, guys? If you want to stay relevant in 2025, you're going to want to take notes during this video or audio. Our digital infrastructure and network and social media platforms are moving so fast these days, it can be really hard to keep up in terms of what you need to do with marketing. And if you're just getting into marketing, it's going to be really difficult to know, like, what do I need to do? Because we can't do all of the things all the time. So today I'm here with our marketing director, member of our leadership team, Sydney Carell. We're going to dive into some of the changes that we've seen in a digital landscape and what is coming for us in 2025 so that we can not only stay relevant, but stay ahead of things a little bit. So what's going on, Sydney? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Joe?
Fantastic. Thank you. Got a big day today. This is the first of a few videos we're doing, so I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to pour into our audience today.
Yes, ma'am. So at Contractor Dynamics, for those of you who don't know, we've been at this game for over a decade and we get to watch these actual digital changes happening every day. And we have an amazing team at CD here. We have different areas of expertise, whether it's social media or Google or tracking or data. And some of the things I'm actually going to talk about today are things that I was not aware of. So that's a power in having an awesome team that can make you aware of some of these changes as the owner of a marketing education company and try to stay on top of the latest and greatest, but things do really move so fast. So what we do all day, every day is we are training roofing and contracting companies on how to build and run their own marketing. So it is job security for us to make sure that we are helping our clients win, one of our core values, and staying ahead of all of these things so that we can adapt to making sure that our content, our messaging is landing, and we're getting the results that we need from our marketing, not just for us, but for our clients and for you as well, the audience who are listening and watching out there.
Absolutely. So, as the marketing director here at Contractor Dynamics, a big part of my role is to handle some research and development for Contractor Dynamics so that we can stay on top of marketing trends. But what this also helps with is our clients directly. So, as a result of doing hours and hours and hours of research, we have compiled this information, boiled it down to a few key points that are really going to help you elevate your marketing tactics in 2025 based on the ever changing landscape of marketing these days.
Yeah, Sydney is amazing at that. We need someone in every company, you guys as well. Even if you're a one man band or a one woman show, you need to be dedicating some time to just staying on top of that, the research and development part, reading books like Gary Vee's Day Trading Attention and things like that. So you are aware is our responsibility as leaders, as business owners, to make sure that we are staying on top of things.
Yeah, we're excited to get into it. And we promise that if you hang tight in this video, you take notes, you tune in for the whole video, and you implement the concepts that we outline, you are definitely going to outdo your competition, even if you're in a super competitive roofing market. So stay tuned.
All right, so let's dive in. I'm going to go over what we're going to cover in the next 20 minutes or so here. We're going to go over some social media changes. We're going to go over some artificial intelligence, AI. Come on, we can't have a marketing video in 2025 without talking about AI. Attention spans that are plummeting, our noisy world, personalization, Google PPC, SEO, LSA, and then tying everything together into building that trustworthy 5 mile famous brand. So let's kick it off with everyone's, most people's favorite topic, social media. That's why a lot of us are here today because we've connected on social media. So Sydney's going to start us off with a couple of things that we need to know right out of the gate that are happening in January of 2025. So what do you got for us, Sydney?
Yeah, so social media is such a big hot button topic. And one thing that keeps coming up over and over and over again is the supposed TikTok ban in January. So there's a lot of buzz about it. Nobody really knows what's going on ever since that big court case went down with the US government. TikTok has been really quiet. So ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, has been really quiet about the whole thing. They are being forced to sell in January. However, a lot of people are speculating that they're potentially dragging their feet and that they're going to even potentially sue the US government. So we don't really actually know fully what's going to happen. But if the TikTok ban does go through in January as it sits right now, one thing that's really interesting to keep in mind is that the users that are still utilizing that platform are going to give their attention to a different social media platform. So, what this means for you as a roofing contractor is if you are utilizing social media consistently right now and you've been wondering, should I get on TikTok? Or maybe you are already on TikTok. Well, this would be a great time for you to consider showing up on other platforms where people are going to divert their attention instead of on TikTok. So if you want to get in on the ground floor of a big shift in social media, this is your opportunity. You absolutely should be showing up on Facebook and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, because those are going to be the go-to platforms that people flock to when they exit TikTok, or if it really does become banned. So that is sort of a complex situation, a complex discussion topic, and we'll probably have a whole other video later on in this playlist specifically talking about social media in 2025. But a couple other things just to give you a brief overview that you should be aware of with social media right now is that Meta is actually testing out some paid profiles for guaranteed increased reach. So they're beta testing this right now. And so you may have seen like the verification check mark that you can pay for, but they're actually stepping it up a level where you can pay like $150 plus a month on your personal profile to get guaranteed increased reach. And so that's something that's really interesting to observe. That's, like I said, still in the beta phase. So there's a lot that could be happening there, but it's definitely something that we should be aware of as we're going into 2025, just so we can continue to think about how we can capture attention organically, especially if we're competing against paid reach. So that's another thing I wanted to outline there. There are a couple other social media platforms that have some changes happening too. So just to kind of summarize a couple other things that are going on, there is a new Reels type function. It's called Snapchat Spotlight. I definitely don't recommend like going all in on that platform. The demographic on Snapchat is significantly younger, like definitely focused on the teen age group. So it's not going to be the best use of your time to put all of your eggs in that basket necessarily when it comes to your marketing approach, but it is something that you should be aware of just as things are changing with social media. And similarly, X, formerly known as Twitter, is also releasing a similar function to Reels like you see on Facebook or Instagram. So a lot of these social media platforms are coming out with this short form style of content. And so they all want to compete for our attention, which is, it's getting really interesting, I'd say, out there.
It is. Thank you, Sydney. I mean, straight up, I'm learning things right now. I mean, older guy. I'm not on Snapchat, so Snapchat Spotlight. All right, cool. And I just want to add some color commentary here, not to like contradict anything that Sydney says, because these are all real things. And as a listener, as a viewer of this, you might be like, man, this is overwhelming. Now I got to be on X. Now I got to be on Snapchat Spotlight. Now I got to like, what am I supposed to do? At the end of the day, most likely you're an owner, a leader, a sales rep of a roofing or contracting company. That is our audience. So what we've been saying for years, and what we're going to continue to say, because it's what we see in the trenches every day with our clients, is that your audience, which is property owners that are, going to invest 5, 6, 7 figures on a construction project, a roof, whatever that might be, they're mostly on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Okay. So these, TikTok, can you crush it on TikTok? Yes, if you go all in. Can you crush it on Snapchat? Maybe. I don't know enough about it. Can you crush it on Twitter or X? I don't know. That's more of like just a different discussion there. Just focus on going deep on a couple of platforms, and we usually recommend Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Don't try to be everywhere. We're not even everywhere as a marketing company, so these are things that you should be aware of. They're great for cocktail parties. You can sound like you know what you're talking about, like I'm going to go to, and sound like I know what I'm talking about after listening to Sydney. But we don't necessarily have to go into all of these things. It's important to know what to do and what not to do.
Absolutely. That distinction is imperative. I think that sort of lends into the next part of our conversation, which is about AI, because there's a lot of opportunity out there with AI as well. I know, Joe, you have tuned in on many different conferences, learning a lot about AI, and there are so many opportunities when it comes to AI. So if you had to boil it down to like just a couple things that the listener should focus on with AI, what would you say that those things should be?
Man, we're going to definitely do another video on this because the topic deserves a separate episode on this. I will say that for us, what I've been doing, what our clients have been doing, is more like ideation in AI and more like automations and things like that than actual content creation. I know that the temptation is that we can spit out 100 SEO optimized blog posts and we can come up with social media posts and just, have them written for us. Well, the downside is that everyone can do that, right? So that doesn't become unique anymore. And our friend Gary Vee says that creative is the variable. And that is absolutely true. Whether it's a video, whether it's a social media post, whether it's an email, a text message campaign, that creativity, which is knowing your market intimately, knowing their problems, knowing their pain points, knowing what they desire, what they need to believe and see in order to do business with you, that is everything. So I personally have relied on AI, ChatGPT, much less for content and much more for just operational, figuring out like maybe our organizational structure or figuring out processes, or when I'm doing like an hour-long training for our Arena Mastermind, giving me an outline of that, or giving me some ideas on how to introduce a guest speaker on one of our podcasts, research and development, things like that. It's really good for that. It's also great for processes, for internal processes, SOPs, and things like that. So it's definitely, they say that your job is not going to be replaced by AI, but your job might be replaced by someone that knows how to use AI better than you can. And I really believe that. So I'm excited as we grow, Sydney, at CD. I can see us within 12 to 18 months having an AI, a full-time AI team member at Contractor Dynamics, AI tech, that sort of thing. I think that's going to be really important moving forward.
I 100% agree. Yeah, it's cutting edge technology that we have to stay on the cusp of if we want to stay relevant. So, yeah, absolutely.
And ultimately what it enables us to do is keeping that, we're all service-based businesses, right? So we're keeping that end consumer, that customer, that client in mind. What it enables us to do is to serve our clients at a higher level and provide more value while being much more efficient. So decreasing the errors, increasing that like kind of Six Sigma goal that we're going for. So yeah, ultimately is not just to be cool or to like put out cool graphics or whatever. It's ultimately to be able to serve our clients more consistently at a higher level.
Absolutely. Yeah, there have been a lot of shifts, and I'm excited to continue to dive into some other shifts that we've noticed as well. In addition to social media and AI, one of the big things that we've been studying is attention spans, actually. So let's talk about that, Joe. It's pretty incredible the research that has gone into the human attention span. I was digging into this, and what I thought was really interesting is that the average human attention span right now is 8.25 seconds, which for perspective is 4.25 seconds less than it was in the year 2000. For additional reference, a goldfish has an average attention span of 9 seconds, and a human has an attention span of 8.25 seconds on average. So it's absolutely bonkers to think that we as humans now actually have a shorter attention span than goldfish. And we're constantly competing for that attention in social media, in our content, in the marketing landscape, in our ads, etc. And so one of the things that we deduced from this knowledge is the importance of the creative. Like you mentioned, Gary Vee says that the creative is the most important piece. And this statistic specifically proves that because video content will be king. You've probably noticed over the course of the past year or so that there is a ton more video content available online now. And if you want to stand out with our ever shortening attention spans, then you have to be consistent about coming up with really catchy hooks. So a hook is the first 3 seconds of a video. And in today's digital landscape, it has to be fantastic. So, Joe, did you want to give a little bit more context on ways that you can come up with good hooks and kind of the different categories of those?
Sorry, what'd you just say? I just got a text. I wasn't really paying attention. Can you repeat that? No, I'm just kidding. That's I'm just trying to insert a joke about attention spans in there. So please have some grace with the dad jokes here. But that is so true, right? We need to make our videos shorter, as short as they can be, and not just to make them shorter, but like your videos should be no longer than it needs to be in order to prove that point, right? So that visual hook at the beginning, if you ever see those videos where you have like someone, you know, falling out of a truck and rolling across the pavement, and then they pop up, and then it's like the real person that pops up, right? That's that visual hook. So we all know what we're talking about. Now, if everyone goes out and does that, then, you know, that's just boring, right? So that's why we need to stay ahead of these things. That's kind of like, that was cool like 3 months ago. Now we're on to like something new, which I don't even know what it is. So it's the visual hook that's going to get people to stop scrolling, and then it's that verbal hook. And the verbal hook isn't, hey, I'm Joe from Contractor Dynamics, and here's what I'm going to tell you today. It's, you're a roofing company. Here's what you need to know about social media in 2025, right? Get people bought into like what that video is going to be about. We've got other episodes that cover that in depth. We've got a whole video course on that inside Contractor Dynamics that our clients have access to, or you can purchase if you like. So we won't go too much into that, but really focus on the fact that we have limited attention spans. People are scrolling a mile a minute, and how are you going to get people's attention? That's huge.
Absolutely. So another thing that ties right into that is we've also noticed a shift, and this will continue to be a shift based on our predictions, that personalization and building a community is becoming more and more important than ever. So, Joe, can you talk a little bit about what personalization is? What does that look like, and why is it important?
Sure, I'm happy to. I mean, people do business with people, and now we cannot we can no longer hide behind our logo. We can't hide behind dumb stock photos that everyone's going to use. Yes, they're dumb. I'm calling you out if you're using them. Video, stock video footage, like all that sort of thing, right? This goes into attention spans a little bit because we want to know who we can trust. And these days, we don't have endless hours to do a ton of research on what roofing company or what kitchen remodeling company that we want to hire, right? We don't want to do that research. We don't have the time. We don't have the energy. We're busy. We don't have attention spans like we just talked about. So that personalization, that brand is a shortcut to making a good decision. So think about this. You want to go hire a local roofing company. And there's one company that has, you know, they're all over town. They have their vehicles wrapped. They have yard signs. They have Little League banners. They're out there in the community at the Chamber of Commerce events. They're doing charitable work in the community. The people of that company are on social media. You see their videos. They're tagged in local Facebook groups and things like that. So that's company A. And then company B is just a random, maybe you find them on a Google search, you go to their website, it's just some generic stuff like Springfield Roofing Company, right? It's not even like a name, there's no pictures, there's no videos, you don't even know who the owner is. Which company is a riskier company to hire, right? I would rather hire the company that's in the trenches in the community because they have so much more at stake if they're not going to take care of me as the homeowner, right? If they're, you know, going to provide a bad service, if they're going to screw me, they have a lot more at stake because they're out there in their community. Whereas, you know, the guy or the girl, the company that is not out there in their community, if they mess up, if they don't take care of me, if they don't, you know, get back to me on time, if they, you know, whatever it might be, then they don't have much to lose because they don't have much skin in the game. So that personalization becomes huge, and that brand becomes like a shortcut to making a good decision, which we all want to make, and we want to lower our risk of making a bad decision and looking like we don't know what we're doing. So personalization is key. Get out there, photos, videos, client testimonials. That's what people want to see, to have that warm and fuzzy feeling about even just reaching out to you, let alone doing business with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is incredible. Uh, we can't just skate by anymore, that's for sure. So this is going to be really valuable video for all of the people that actually go out and implement the things that we're talking about. So let's keep chugging along here. So the next thing that we specifically wanted to touch on was Google PPC and SEO trends. This is kind of a beast of a topic because I think for the first time in quite a few years here, a few recent years, there have been drastic shifts in the results associated with Google pay per click, Google SEO. And so that really boils down to a few different components. But one of the things that's drastically impacting the performance of Google pay per click and SEO results is AI now, right? A lot of people are utilizing ChatGPT as a tool for search. Therefore, Google may not be the big giant in the search engine world as they once were, because fewer people are actually using Google to search for specific items. Joe, do you use ChatGPT like it's Google?
All the time, and more so honestly every week, because just about how specific it can be. It's kind of, it's so interesting because I've been Googling for 20 years, and now it's like all of a sudden in the last 2 months I've been chat GPTing. Is that it? Is that
Are we going to coin that term in this video? Chat GPTing.
yeah, that's
That's
what
a
I was
little
about.
lengthy. We might have
Well,
to
chatting.
rethink that.
Didn't they just buy chat.com? So now it'd just be chatting, right?
Ch- that's wildly confusing, but I guess that would work.
Yeah. To be
But
determined. That will be another episode. Stay tuned for that one.
when we come up with a new phrase, such as Googling, but it's the use of AI, that would be fun. Very cool. But one of the things that we've noticed with our clients is that Google pay-per-click and SEO are in general performing less than they have in the past, and they're definitely costing more than they ever have. It's really not a winning combination. Now, this is not a blanket statement. There are certainly some folks out there who are utilizing SEO, they're utilizing Google pay-per-click, and they're still getting good results, but as a collective, we've observed that the trend is that the results are definitely trending downward and they're costing more for a lot of people who are competing for those keywords and whatnot. One of the things that really contributes to this that we did some research on is the concept of zero click searches. So you may have noticed now when you go to use Google, if you're still using Google, and you type in a search like, let's just say, how do I cook A, B, and C for dinner. Instead of giving you a specific recipe, it will instead populate with an AI quick response. And so, what that is being coined as a term, that collective process is zero click searches. So now, as a user, you can go into Google, type in what you need, and get your result and get your question answered without even clicking to a page at all. And so there's a lot of layers to that discussion. However, if most people, actually 58% of people in the US are using zero click searches, that's a drastic amount of people that once searched for your company and clicked to your website to do research and are now instead typing into Google and utilizing whatever it pops up in the AI feature tool at the very top. So it definitely limits your ability for people to click on those pay-per-click ads, for people to click into your website, for that SEO juice to really work its magic. Now, of course, there are some ways that we can kind of use like schema markup with SEO to help us show up in that AI result, but it's only showing one result there currently at the top. So that competition is going to get very steep. So it's absolutely imperative that we make sure that our brand is doing the work that it should be and that we're consistently building that brand, because what mitigates the risk with all of this is if someone goes to Google and types in, let's just say, gravity roofing into Google and your website pops up because they know they want to do business with you. That's a fantastic workaround for what's happening with zero click searches right now. So instead of someone typing in roofer near me, get them to type in your business name, and you will definitely overcome all of the challenges that are associated with Google pay-per-click ads and SEO right now. So that's a massive shift in consumer behavior that we've been seeing, and it's been tracked with data, and it's going to continue to change as AI is more widely adopted for sure.
That's huge. Yes, so we're actually working with well, not working with him yet. He's a prospective client out in Colorado, roofing company, and they're doing really well with Google PPC, Google search. But this particular owner, he's sharp, and he said, well, those leads are just okay, right? They're cold because people are Googling like roofer near me or roofer Denver, whatever that search is. They don't know who we are. He's like, I want to focus on building a brand so that people are Googling my roofing company's name, and then we're generating higher quality leads. They're going to close at a higher rate. They're going to be more profitable. And we want to build our business like that rather than people just looking at us as a random roofing company. So all of these things that we're talking about, they really do tie in together. The other part I want to note about that zero-click search thing, even beyond just that AI result, is I use it a ton for restaurants, and I travel a ton. Probably, at least twice a month, we're either at a business event or an out of state like soccer tournament for our kids, and we're constantly trying to find good, healthy uh, options for eating. And restaurant websites are horrible, right? Notoriously, like just like nonsense. So we're looking at like, what are people saying about this restaurant? We're looking at Google reviews. There's pictures. Sometimes there's even like the menu right there in the Google Business Profile. And so it's like rare that I'm actually going to a restaurant website to check them out. So that is an increasing trend, and it applies to roofing and contracting companies as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely does. And if you think you're immune to it, don't think that, because then you'll kind of get caught up in the rat race. So it's definitely time to start building the brand. And so, with that, Joe, I think that kind of brings us to our summary here. Did you kind of want to walk us through everything that we talked about today so that we can make sure that we implement those things consistently?
Yes. For those of you who have attention spans beyond 8.5 seconds and you're still with us, thank you so much. Hope you learned some things today. And really, we want to treat this as kind of a buffet of things that you need to be aware of. You don't need to eat all of it, right? But in summary, marketing is not a set it and forget it. We've been in business 11 years, right? So going back 7, 8 years, it kind of was set it and forget it. And for those of you who are, have more, let me just say, have more life experience. Back in the days of the yellow pages, your marketing consisted of buying out that full page ad in the yellow pages, and that was it for the year. Like that was, you're good to go, right? So that is not how our world works these days, for better or for worse. So it's not a set it forget it. We need to be students of the game. Whether it's you as an owner, a sales rep, whether you have a marketing person inside your company, you're working with a coaching company like Contractor Dynamics, you need to be a student of the game. And it really, what it comes down to are two real important rules of the game. Number one, where is the consumer attention? Gary Vee talks about that all the time. So get that book, Day Trading Attention. It's huge. And then how are people making buying decisions? We talked about that a lot in today's episode. So number one, where is that consumer attention? And then how are people making those buying decisions? And when we say that marketing is changing, it's not just a cliche. It really, truly is. I mean, honestly, I learned things today in this episode from Sydney that I was not aware of. That's how fast it is changing. So make sure that on that note, you implement, like Sydney said at the beginning of this episode, implement some of these things. Reach out to us at Contractor Dynamics if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel or the podcast, wherever you're consuming this content, because we're going to keep continuing to put out 2 videos every week, at least 2 videos every week, to make sure that you are aware of all the changes that are happening. So if you found this video helpful, and I'm sure you did, if you're half an hour in with us right now, we really appreciate it. Again, if you subscribe, share it with a friend, send it to your team, take a screenshot, share it on your stories on social media. We want to get the word out, want to impact as many people as possible on the Contractor Dynamics Nailed It show. So what do we have coming up next, Sydney?
Yeah, so we have playlists of content ready to go for y'all. So in the next video, Joe will walk us through how to create goals for your roofing company in 2025, but not just any generic goals, goals that actually make you money. So if you're watching this on our playlist, stay tuned, and this will launch you right into the next video. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you have a fantastic day.